What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. Whether people like the reveals or hate them, everybody's pretty much talking about King's Court right now, and I want to break down what's going on because it's confusing even to me still, because there's things we just don't know about the set. In Simply Unlucky's video, he pulls what's very clearly ultra rare Winged Dragon of Ra's and Sliffers that are Millennium Rare. You can barely see the hieroglyphs holographic around the Ra, unlike the OCG ones. They don't seem to cover the picture. That's not just the natural background that's also there on Slifer, but PPG pulled secret rares of them that are also hieroglyphic, and you can very clearly see it's not like an ultra rare. You see the rainbow actual lettering on Obelisk. They thought it was a collector rare at first, so if you listen to their video, they say that, but they've now taken very clear pictures. Thank you, PPG, for catching up with 2021 and having an HD camera look at these. They are awesome. You can super clearly see the lining and the holographic hieroglyphs on the Ra. You can see them on the Slifer bottom left there as well. And the Obelisk doesn't have a ton of foiling to actually show it off, but down by his arms, you can also make it out that it has that same effect. And in the pictures, they appear very secret rare as well. So through video and also that, we see two different examples of these, and they seem to pop up one per case or one per every 2 cases. We don't know the ratio there yet either. Now, some people are like, I hate this Slifer, Obelisk, and Ra support again. When can we get this GX support or that? I think Konami's done a great legacy support job throughout all the core sets, but if you do hate these reveals, I hate to tell you about the next year's Megatons theme, with it being the final piece of the tablet. But also, when it comes down to King's Court, I see a lot of confusion over the ratios. I get these are newer sets, that this is not the same as a deck building set, so it can be confusing. Every single set with collector rares sees about 4 collector rares per case. Now, on top of that, the regular ultra rares, you see about 3 per box, which is 36 per case. A case is 12 boxes. So on pull rates without short printing, which short printing has not happened in any of these collector rare sets, you're going to see about 3.6 of each ultra rare. That's not the best ratio now, is it? It does feel short, but that's the natural ratio, and then we rely on the chase cards to help with value. Lightning Storm is a huge draw to the set. A lot of people are worried. I still think you want to wait for competition to ramp up. We have Yu-Gi-Oh! Daily and Tier 0. They're going to be listing at some point pre-sales, and that brings me to another point. I've seen conspiracy theories like never before since I started Market Watch on, oh, John with King's Court, he's really pushing it on his audience in order to just sell his own. Oh, yes, the boxes went up an entire $1 since last night, and that couldn't just be the chase reveals. Look, it targets boomers. I'm a boomer. I like the collector rare Rescue Rabbit. I like the God card appeal to this. I like it having a mega chase. I can't help that necessarily, but when did I pre-order? Yes, in the pre-order window when anybody could have gambled on this set. Also, I see other people trying to point out that I would use my audience in that way. Let me make it very clear how I make my money, because when somebody goes, oh yes, trust me, that's not very trustworthy, so I'm going to say my track record instead and how I make my money. Whenever you use that promo code, What's Good 5 for 5% off to support the channel directly, I make some of the sale. That's why I say it supports the channel directly. When it comes down to that, that's how I make a good chunk of my money, but I make even more on the live streams. People who pay attention month to month and see people actually support there, that's where I make most of it, and I go towards my hopes and dreams with that. So when people are coming out going that I'm taking advantage of my audience, I'm upping the prices, am I telling people to go open and bust King's Court for these cards and that you should be that excited? No, I'm saying I think it's good sealed, or you go after the singles, and I give the same kind of approach level-headedly without bias. I joke about being biased with this set, but when a sponsor brings a sale and it has stuff I don't like say the Ice Barrier Structure Decks, what have I historically done? I show the sale and then say I absolutely would not buy these, but if you're in the market for these, go ahead and go at it. I tend to lead my audience that way. Did I say buy Blazing Dumpster Fire? No. Did I say buy a Lightning Underdrive? No. I said go for the singles with those sets. What about the Charmer Structure Deck? Go for the singles, but I found the RNG aspect pretty darn cool with those structures, and maybe long term it pans out due to Dark Ruler no more, but I think there's better price points for you to actually put your money into the market. Not a financial advisor channel either, by the way, but when it comes to this, it's really just disheartening to see people that have been subbed for 4 years, typically super positive in the comment section, making comments like that. And as a Texan, like a Sky Striker, I engage whenever I see that kind of conversation about me, so people can go, oh, he's engaging, he's trying to pull the wool over your eyes or whatever. No, I'm just gonna tell you how I make my money and let that stand. That being said, with King's Court, I'm very excited for the reveals. Personally, I really like a lot of the collector rare choices so far. Rivalry was kind of a weird one. I'm still hoping Gravekeeper Spy is one. And let's talk about some outfall on some other high-end cards people had questions about on stream. Winged Dragon of Ra Ghost Rare. Will these new fangled Raws end up affecting this? Will it drive it up? I do think when it comes to these cards, people tend to collect them in bunches, and this used to hard carry the Merrick Legendary Duelist until the Slifer and Obelisk structure deck ended up pushing up the prices of the other support and people finally grabbing their raw support. But yes, this sealed went up long over time. Weird, it's like I suggested that set as well for long-term holding and not to bust open. Collectible sets, maybe I can sniff that one out. But seriously, with the Winged Dragon of Ra Ghost Rare, I do think that what would actually help it is the Ghost Rare Slifer and Ghost Rare Obelisk somewhere down the line. I don't think they'll leave this alone by itself, but we'll wait to see if/where those appear. I think it's a question of when rather than if, but maybe it is a question of if at this point. But nice to see other solid value rising on up, and I do hope for a reprint of Egyptian God Slime at some point, but you had the chance to buy these at as low as $18 at one point, and I think that's pretty good for a short print out of a Duelist pack. Yes, one of the sets like Ghost from the Past or Duelist packs that still end up having those short prints. Legendary Duelists are Duelist packs, even if Konami doesn't want to call them that, by the way. And then Utopia Astral. Oh, there's a rival now in the, collector rare Utopia. Regular Utopia got it, and we don't need to carry a translation for it. Well, I do think Astral has a bit of a bright future, although it's gone down recently. When we look at the sales, it's back down to 500. It was hyped up at one point. 700 was lowest on market. Some poor sap ended up buying the $700 one, and you see others at 550. So it was headed towards 1,000, but now they're seller after seller. You see 100% sales. You have $450, then 500, 500, 500. It does rise somewhat quickly again if somebody were to attempt it, which shows how just a couple of deep interested pockets or one interested deep pocket can affect a card like this. But I think Utopia Astral's future gets a boost when we do get the Astral of Leviathan Dragon, hopefully, and Brothers of Legend, which you can use code WhatsGood5 for 5% off and to support the channel directly if you're going in on that. Although I also think with this, it's good long-term sealed rather than necessarily diving in for the cards once again. But people don't always take my advice. Some people just want to open a box and have fun with that. I don't blame you. I love opening packs. It's a great feeling. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you get Adamantipator Friends out of Rise of the Duelist. But seriously, I do think you'll see another Astral chase in that. It's not confirmed yet, but I think the writing's on the wall that it would be as the number theme continues and Brothers of Legend along with all the show cards and Karibos are super, collectibles. So I do think that this ends up having this, okay, now it's time to match and grow this collection, while the collector rares are their own things as well. But whenever you have a competing top rarity that people can argue about, I still think this one takes the cake. People can try to prefer the collector rare though, and end up kind of pushing it as well. And you see with Trishula, Starlight, DT, Ulti, how that kind of drags the Starlight of that down as well. Now, Shared Ride is going up. I think this is in part due to Sky Strikers being back around. This used to counter them, so I think it's more so for that. But I guess you could also potentially play this against Drytron, as the Discord was pointing out. After this card resolves, each time your opponent adds a card from their deck or graveyard to the hand this turn, except by drawing them, you immediately draw one card. So Shared Ride finding multiple decks to potentially play against. I still think the formats where Shared Ride actually does good is pretty wonky, and you end up having a real slowdown in the duels to be able to do that. But it kind of acts like a pseudo max C and how some people can go through their turns. Oh yes, go ahead, keep drawing. Instead of Droll walking you, just add all the cards. That's why Droll seems sometimes better, but this also shuts, the graveyard into advantage trains. Now, speaking of sets that didn't do the hottest, Lightning Overdrive is now going down in price. I did say I thought a lot of these cards would continue to go down. Diviner is way down versus what it was as attention turns towards other sets. I don't want to play with you anymore. New cards are here. So we do see a lot of copies under $65, even headed towards 62, with some sales, dipping down there as well. Now, the rest of the set, I do want to say, with the amazements, I think they used to be undervalued, then they got overvalued. I gave them a push. I didn't know other YouTubers would push at the same time. A lot of people in the room saw the same thing. I think it's an interesting engine that makes it into Rogue that could top/win events, but it also does have its problems. It's about fairly valued now, I would say, as it's coming back down off those high prices. And then Mubeta Fafnir down here, along with I called these being around $8, didn't I? Weird. And then ZS Ascended Sage is very interesting to me, as it's probably got future value with all this Utopia support coming out and being great with them. The Trap Tricks, though, are the biggest surprise for how budget they are down within this set. So tons of Lightning Overdrive still on the market, but the boxes up in value. No race to the bottom, as it seems a lot of pseudo vendors are out of the market. And by pseudo vendor, I mean people that open a couple of cases and get a couple of cases and try to flood the market with all of the bad sets after bad sets that happen between Ancient Guardians, Genesis, Impact, those kinds of sets throughout the last end of the year into this year. A lot of them seem to have pulled back from ordering tons of Yu-Gi-Oh! And gone for the more guaranteed sets rather than the gamble sets. So sets like this seem to have a lot less competition helping the sealed, but the competition still is there for the singles. Now, here's the attention you ordered for the day. Symbol of Heritage. Whoever did this for $80, congratulations, you made it to Market Watch. Don't be that guy. Don't spend your money this way. Never ever list like this either. You look like a jackass. Cosmo Dark Destroyer Unlims even have been bought out. I was looking for the first editions and they're around $43. This is a weird one to me, but it does have a legacy in the game. I just don't know that many people want to go back and play those formats, but I guess some people are starting to get to the point where this starter deck along with Burning Abyss, but it's such a floaty, weird meta game for somebody to pick. But I do respect Bank Destroyer as it used to be known, and the Unlims going to that is eyebrow raising to me. Infinite Impermanence has some very interesting recent sales. We see even Dual Power far above its market price. People are teching and using this during this format, and gold is cheapest. This is why I think it could end up in the Cyber Strike structure deck. I think it could end up in there because this was the first non-short printed copy of Imperm, unlike Evenly Match, which keeps getting short printed. So that could be a sign that Konami is up for finally giving us a budget version of this, and then other printings to help out this product and see how it does with that Ash Blossom effect of a once expensive card. Now, Ash Blossom, this is not. It's more of a format dependent hand trap is what it's falling into, similar to Effect Veiler, but a better version. So it'll be interesting to watch Imperm throughout the ages, but will Konami put it in a structure deck? Let me know if you think so. It just Lightning Storm gets pulled and this does make it with the theme. I'm starting to lean that way, and then I think the structure deck would be a really good kind of thing to grab a bunch of to keep sealed for longer term. The name Cyber Dragon tends to sell as well, but we'll watch and see. You're still gambling that Konami will come through on an interesting card in a structure deck. Phantasme is also a format-dependent hand trap. I just want to point out, I've seen more and more play of it, and I've seen less and less on the market. Get it sooner than later before it ends up into some weird high price ranges. With only 4 printings, it's got a lot of printings at once, helping it stay cool. Have your playset ready for meta games. It's floating back into so many metas. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch and listening to me rant. Sometimes I just get comments to where they bug me enough to where I feel like I address them when they come in the mass. I've seen that talk around me. I do this very publicly for a reason, not to hype my own stuff, but because I want to be straightforward with you guys, tell you where I'm going, tell you where my mind is at, and to actually get, in a sense, roundabout punished for doing that, to try to spin that into theories about me. I find that really weird when I just have this open door of, hey, this is how I make my money. Hey, join the live streams. Hey, join the open chat. Talk to me if you want. It's weird how these people who throw that stuff out don't tend to come through in there. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. And again, hearing me out on the day.